All right, this is Jerry Diamond, How to Get Out of Babylon, and lights out about a bunch of MZBs, mutant zombie bikers. All right, you know, back when, many years ago, in the National Football League, there was a coach, Lou Saban. He coached for the Broncos. Before that, he coached for the Buffalo Bills. And I believe it was with the Buffalo Bills that they choice between going for the field goal and going for the touchdown. He said half a loaf is better than none. They went for the field goal, and he got fired. Fans didn't like that. They wanted to go for the whole enchilada. Half a chapter is better than none. So that's all it's going to be. I got to get some sleep. I got an early day tomorrow. But I do realize there's people up waiting, so I'm going to read first, and if I'm not going to have any comments, although I would like to, about a lot of things. Okay. I consider it finders keepers. I guess it all comes down to where you draw the line. I guess so, Mark said, not wanting to argue the point in front of everyone. Anyway, after I saw there was no one around, I went back to check on Jonathan, and then I snuck back down to the creek and shot some squirrels with my .22 pistol. By the time everyone else arrived, they were skinned, cleaned, and cooking on spits over a fire. We opened a few cans of vegetables and had ourselves a big feast of tree rats. Jeff said, "We hate tree rats," all the newcomers said in unison. Everyone laughed. That night it started raining, gently at first, but then it got harder and harder, Mike explained. The small tent kept the water out, but the larger one leaked. We strung the tarps up over it, and that helped some. Monica and the baby stayed in the good tent since we didn't want them to get sick. We kept the fire going even though the wet wood smoked. Someone would have had to trip over us to see the fire or smoke anyway. It was miserable. And we even talked about going over and staying in the abandoned house, but we decided it was too risky. It rained hard for 2 days straight, and we didn't go anywhere. In a way, it was good. It gave Jonathan's ankle a chance to heal, and everyone got plenty of rest. Jeff was able to get everyone all the tree rats they could eat. "We hate tree rats," they said again to another chorus of laughs. That kept us from having to eat any of our food except for a few canned fruits and vegetables. One other thing I should have mentioned was that Monica had a big bottle of kids' vitamins. We all started taking one a day since she had plenty. I don't know for sure how much it helped, but I think it made a big difference. The next morning, let me see, Mike looked at his little journal. Yeah, it was the 11th day, the sky was clear, and it had cooled off a little. We made real good time since everyone was rested. Jonathan was still limping a little, so we put his pack in the cart, and he was able to keep up just fine. We followed the creek south for a couple of miles and then came to another set of tracks. I hadn't intended for us to use them since they ran east-west, but it was so much easier to walk on the tracks, and with no fences to cross, we decided to follow them. They ran through Belton to the west of us and back to Temple if you took them east. We didn't want to go through either city, but we saw that we could go toward Belton and then cut cross-country for just a mile or so and get on another set that would take us back east and intersect the north-south tracks we needed. We got that far and even made it about a mile south of the intersection that day. I figured we walked over 14 miles that day. Of course, we only made 6 or 7 as the crow flies, but we were all happy to be back on course. The next couple of days went well. We made good time, and there was plenty of good water with all of the rain. By the end of the second day, we were just north of Granger. I should also mention that we saw a couple of things we hadn't seen before during this period. The first is we saw our first dead train. It was kind of ironic. It was a car carrier, and it must have had hundreds of new cars on it. Too bad it wasn't loaded with 57 Chevys. Maybe we could have used one. Mike paused. The second thing we saw was another group using the railroad tracks. It was a group of young people who said they were from the University of Texas and they were trying to get home to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We talked to them for a few minutes. They had good backpacks and plenty of freeze-dried food. In that way, they were better off than us, but they had only one gun. It was an old pump shotgun and a couple of boxes of shells. They seemed like good kids. I hope they made it home and found their folks. I'm afraid to even think about what Dallas is like. It was deathly quiet at that moment.